sit in a government yard in Trenchtown. Observing the hypocrites as they would mingle with the good people we meet. Oh, good friends we've lost along the way.
Big D, what's up?
How you doing?
What's happening? What's happening? Let me turn this down.
I love it. A bit of Bob Marley in the background.
You know you go already.
How are you?
It's been a pleasure, man.
Good to see you.
Huh?
Can you hear me clearly?
Yeah. You can hear me?
I can, yeah.
Who is that? Patrick. Hey, Patrick, what's up? Patrick, go hail it down.
I watched them all, babe. Yeah.
All right. You know, we want to get right into it because we only have like an hour. I guess you can introduce yourself. What is it that you do for those who are here now? Because as far as I'm concerned, you do everything. You know, one time.
No.
I see you doing a bunch of stuff. So that's just for the benefit of the audience, those who will be here and those who will watch it after, because now it's midday now, so it's a work day.
Yep.
Suspect that we'll get everybody now, so we'll have to post it after. But anyhow, over to you.
Well, thank you very much for the invite. Thanks to yourself and Alexander for putting this together. A really good platform of the work you guys are doing. In terms of myself, my name is Dominic Hay, for those who don't know me. My background is originally in law, so I actually do a mixture of things. So one of the day-to-day activities of mine is mainly consulting. I'm also the co-founder of a digital marketing agency called Go Social. And I'm an investor in businesses, real estate, and, funds, and a part of a members-only club which invests in a bunch of stocks and shares and invests in small to medium-sized businesses. So that's pretty much what I do on a day-to-day basis. And in terms of my time split, it's split across the majority of those things I just mentioned.
As a lawyer?
Yeah, so I consult and go into companies, help them with their contract and commercial management strategy. It's self-employed, so I pretty much a 1 to 3 man band. It's usually myself and maybe 2 others. So I'll hire people, will come in and maybe fix a problem for a civil servant type business or a government, and help them with their processes and strategies. So they usually are my client, or the company, or the client of my business, essentially. And other than that, I probably spend 16 hours a week supporting a digital marketing agency, which I founded with a business partner of mine called Christopher, who is, pretty much a co-founder, shareholder, and director of the digital marketing agency. We're based in Shoreditch, which is an area in London. And we also have offices in Canary Wharf, which is a financial district as well in London. And we spend pretty much probably about Saturdays and Wednesdays to Friday, usually in office or working from home. I think because of the pandemic, a lot of are now at home. A lot of my, SEO people, Facebook ad experts, they're at home. Servicing clients, helping clients convert traffic into essentially customers. So helping them with their conversions and basically brand strategy, Facebook ads, so that sort of thing. So that's pretty much my work split. So yeah, it's I do a mixture of a few things, but day to day and consulting in a legal aspect or a digital marketing aspect. So that keeps me busy.
So tell me, before I go into the customer service part of it, how does a lawyer, by the way, Dominic is from Montego Bay. He went to Cornwall College. I'm quite surprised that out, but he's from Jamaica. He's actually from Jamaica. He would have been a batchmate of mine as well, and Alexa. But how was the transition? How does the Jamaican student go into England, become a lawyer, and then get into all of these things? And I'm pretty sure I'm seeing you dabbling in real estate, doing some stuff in real estate.
Yep.
As well.
So
that transition.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was originally born in England and then moved to Jamaica when I was 6 years old. Grew up there, as you just mentioned, and then the UK, 2007. It's pretty bad to hit the ground running. I wouldn't lie and say I was really focused when I came back because I was 17, and I guess I was just trying to find my way. But I wanted to basically do law, and then I studied a law degree. Did 3 years, both with a LLB, a legal practice course. LLB with honours, and then I did the legal practice course, which was another year. So I spent 4 years studying law, working in different firms, so criminal law firms, magic circle firms, which is in the UK, it's like some of the top firms in London. They're called magic circle firms. So I spent time at Clifford Chance, Freshfields, and I realised I actually like the business world, and I actually enjoy like contract law as opposed to doing criminal law. So for a year, that work out if I wanted to qualify as a criminal defense lawyer, or if I want to go down the route of, learning more about the commercials, dealing with maybe mergers and acquisitions, or maybe dealing with aviation, or dealing with different aspects of law, which originally I had no clue even existed. I thought, law, just defending criminals, basically, right? Or prosecutors. But as I got older, in my early 20s, I discovered different areas of law, and I thought, wow, number one, there's a great impact I can make to companies if I specialize in a certain area of law. And number two, I can be, paid fairly as well if, I put my head down and focus and essentially execute, certain contracts and be involved in certain deals. So in my mid-20s, I decided to go down the route of going to, commercial and contract type law, so transactional based law, as opposed to going to court, dealing with defending law, defending different people. So that's the original transition, and how I basically decided to study law, and how I decided to get into the world of commercial law. And mid-20s, of course, everyone was on social media. I started to realize that social media is really important, and if you're a business owner and you're not leveraging social media to grow your business, you're definitely missing a trick. So I teamed up with a friend of mine. We said, look, let's start growing Instagram accounts and selling them. So you might not know, Dwayne, that I actually started just growing accounts. So
so I think your own account you had change it into a business account, and then you started a new personal account.
Yeah, so
I think I saw that.
Experimenting, just growing account, using different software that are out there, different, just using my own money and testing to see what works, what doesn't work, and then done it on myself first, because I thought it's so important you use yourself as a case. And then more businesses who wanted social proof, and have certain metrics or certain numbers, 10K followers, so they can use the swipe up feature. For example, I had a client, I want that. And I was like, what do you mean? She said, I just want 10K followers so I can use the swipe up. So I was like, okay. So she was like, how much do you charge me to do this? So I said to Chris, look, I've got a client who also wants someone to help her with video marketing, because she's got a lot of content, but she doesn't know how to make it into 30 seconds or a 60-second video, and she put it out there on Facebook, but she has no idea how to do a brand awareness campaign or a traffic conversion campaign. I was like, all right, we have a client. They're based in the area I used to live, Palace, and she basically paid me £1,500 to just manage her social media. So I thought, wow, I can do this self-employed and do it myself, and maybe hire a freelancer to support me, or I can team up with Chris, who background is in SEO and also video, like video marketing, and make a business. So he came on board with a client. I came on board with a client, and then after that, we got a few referrals and a few more referrals, and then we realized, let's not basically self-employed and consult and just advise people one-on-one. Let's make a business out of this. So that's how Go Social was formed a few years ago, and it pretty much is, I wouldn't say it's like on autopilot, but we have a set of clients who have been with us now for a while, and they literally just work like clockwork, if that makes sense. So they've boarded for a while, they've stayed with us for a while, they pay on a monthly basis, like a direct debit, they have the same type of service, and we literally just help them with their conversion on simple as that. So that's why 16 hours my time per week is dedicated to that, while some of my other time is dedicated to going into companies and fixing them on a consultative basis. So yeah, that's how we arrived here, Dwayne. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, man. So I mean, I ended up in marketing as well.
Yep.
Yeah, man, definitely ended up in marketing. That's started lecturing at university and stuff with it. So I'm gonna be asking you some questions based on just even my own knowledge of marketing, because I do know one of the challenges that many people have where marketing is concerned. It's a little easier with social media because you can show the metrics.
Yeah.
But marketing in general, there is always this challenge between what you put out and directly pointing to something to say this is what caused the conversion to happen.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Really have that challenge, especially persons who are older. So my question is to you: how important is it for you for your service delivery? How do you maintain the service delivery? How do you keep your clients happy? Because your service delivery may be fine. You have your good metrics and stuff, but your clients aren't necessarily happy with what you're giving.
Yeah.
That and get new clients. Since it's on autopilot, I'm assuming there are things that you still have to do.
Yeah.
To get new clients. So how do you maintain that and keep your clients happy in a, let's call it a customer service environment?
Yeah. Yeah. Really, really good question. What we do is we have a 3-part process when we onboard a client. And number one is about communication. And the communication means how often we actually communicate with a client. So we set that expectation up. And in terms of communication and transparency, we use tools like Slack as opposed to, so we can communicate.
Sorry? As opposed to what? Slack as opposed to what?
Opposed to what?
What?
Yeah. So as part of our service delivery and overall management of a client, we deal with communication aspect 1, which is what we use Slack and we use email, and we have a communication. We have a comms plan, which sounds a bit project managey, but we have a comms plan when dealing with stakeholders. Then part about our metric and performance. And part 2 of the onboarding process is an explanation of how we monitor progress, what we expect to see in terms of results and desired outcome. So desired outcome for everyone is a ROAS. So for those of you who might not know that much about Facebook marketing, ROAS or ROAS is return on ad spend. So every client wants a big return on ad spend where you put £1,000 in, get back, I don't know, 20x £1,000. So they get, so everyone has huge expectations. Right? So we provide data usually on a weekly basis, and then we have a monthly where email you would get on a Friday would be like a dashboard. So we use a very simple PowerPoint looking presentation and present data on a PowerPoint presentation. And then at the end of the month, what we do is we use a tool called Power BI. I don't know if you're familiar with it. It's well, for some of you who are not on the call, it's a platform which allows you to generate reports and sync up reports from different places and put them in one an Excel spreadsheet, PowerPoint presentation, maybe a download of a Facebook report, and put it all into. So we use Power BI as well, which is really useful. And we use some clients, not all, because some don't like all of the reports, which is quite interesting. Another topic, but we use different present data on a weekly basis, and at the end of the month, which usually shows or gives an indication at least on how we're doing in terms of brand awareness, if we're running a brand awareness campaign, how we're doing in terms of conversions. So we look at conversion.
I'm gonna add you a bit, right?
Sorry?
Yeah. You're the client, right? What are, because so
I didn't hear that. So,
from the clients that you have,
yeah.
What are the age groups? And the reason I'm asking is the customer service that is required, and this is, I'm just speaking from experience as well, the customer service that is required for a, say, I mean, people don't necessarily want to hire anybody. Let's say a 35-year-old to maybe a 45-year-old.
Yep.
It's all different from people who are in their 60s and understand what the hell we're showing them on these reports. So how do you keep that service delivery high? By the way, do you have those clients? That should be my first question.
Yeah, good question. So there's a clear difference when onboarding different clients. So you raise a really good point. I'll give you an example. So we onboarded a client who's based out in Tel Aviv, Israel. They were quite savvy. They were probably mid-30s and around 40 years old. So they understood tech. They were really good with Slack. They were really good with different platform technologies. They knew what MailChimp was. They knew about different platforms that are out there. And onboarding them was straightforward, super easy. And then I onboarded a Italian restaurant and just a local business, and he just wanted to run campaigns like 2-for-1 deals. He just wanted leads, like Mother's Day special, ladies do brunch.
The basic stuff. Yeah, the basic stuff. Yeah.
Lead generation, and he was like 55, so he didn't understand like the different metrics and the ROAS. Didn't even want to learn these things. He was like, hey, I don't care. I just want to give you the money and you basically print money for me.
You do it.
Yeah. So I had to explain. I was like, look, it doesn't work exactly like that. Well, it's I'm not Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, whatever the case might be. It's not a magic pill where you say, I'm going to put in the money and it's going to, push out, 5x that. It doesn't work. You need to invest in it, and just like anything, you need to take care of it. And if you don't take care of it, it will go away. Like anything, right? And those of you who are in relationships, what I mean by that, you have to constantly put in the work to maintain it, right? So he actually wanted me to just not give him all of the data. He didn't want it. But then I'll give you another example of someone who was same age as the client who was based in Tel Aviv, Israel. She was another local person. She had a clinic that was doing about $270,000 a year. So six figures, strong six figures. She done Botox, lip fillers and stuff like that, right? And she didn't care about the metrics, the data either. And I found that quite interesting because here you've got someone who's in Israel who is unable to meet me in person. And this is all COVID, by the way. Unable to meet me, and they want to see all the data. They want to use the tech. But then we have someone who in London who could meet up with me at a coffee shop, could meet with me at WeWork, which is a co-working space. We spend a lot of our time. She didn't want to do all that. She wanted to see the results. And all she wanted to do is focus on what she is trained to do, which I understand, which is, cosmetic surgery, essentially, right? So it's really depending on the individual. And I wouldn't say it's based on age group, because I work with people who are 50 plus who want to understand tech. It's actually individual because we're all different type of learners. Some people like by reading. Some people like to learn by doing, involving them. Some people want to learn by listening. So I don't know what you're like, but for me, I like listening to podcasts and audiobooks. But that's actually something that's new. Before I used to read, physically read things. So
same thing. Yeah, I feel you on that.
Yeah, so
I can listen when you're driving and stuff like that. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, so I don't really just tailor our onboarding process to the person. So we try and explain that this is what we're gonna do, and hope that they trust and follow us, which takes a lot. But there will be a few, outliers who just won't follow and just won't listen and just care about all the tiny PowerPoint presentations and the case. There will always be a few who don't care about that.
I have a scenario for you. It's personal experience, but I'm gonna share it with you nonetheless. It's in line with all of what we're talking about. So, similar to yours. And but this client, it had a board. The company had a board, and the board, the youngest person on the board was maybe 3 years old.
23, okay. You're breaking 26, okay.
No.
I don't know. I'm not hearing you. Yeah, I can't hear you. I see what you're doing.
Going back.
Okay.
Hold the phone in hand now.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, much better.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to hold it in hand now.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying we had a client, or I had a client. He was the youngest person on that board was 63. Right.
Okay. Well.
The board had about maybe 15 people, and the youngest was about 63. Now the challenge is, and I'm throwing the challenge out to you, was that they viewed, and I'm using your own social media experience, they viewed social media as joke marketing. That you get a bunch of pictures, you throw it online, and automatically it reaches everybody because they know 200 people with social media accounts. So automatically it just goes online. Now, even with a conversion of 1/3 of their new customers came from social media. That was proven by them. Because we did a post test. Every month you do a test just to see how many persons. They ask a questionnaire and all of that. Have a questionnaire and all of that. So 1/3 of their customers were coming directly from social media.
Yeah, 1/3.
They believed that 100% or at least 80% should be coming from social media, since everybody is on social media.
Okay.
Now, yeah, right. So now how would you manage that customer to maintain the customer service delivery if you were in a position like that? And I'm telling you, you do have a lot of that.
Yeah.
In developing countries. I'm not so sure about the developed countries, but I can speak directly about the developing countries. This wasn't a Jamaican, it was overseas in Trinidad.
Yeah. So it's a good scenario and a good question.
Mm-hmm.
And you've given me some good data. So in terms of how we would look at it, I guess the first thing you would want to do is try and work out their level of understanding of social media. You already said that they've already classified it as joke marketing.
Right.
And you've also said that 1/3 of their clients are coming from social, but they believe 100%.
Right. No less than 80.
No less
should be coming from online. Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. So
because they believe everybody has a social media account, so everybody should see it.
Yeah. Well.
Becomes tricky right there, right?
Yeah. Because billions of users. About target audience. It goes in there. Right?
Right. It goes into a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But
Reach. I mean, the list goes on. But in terms of how we would manage it, we would honestly, depending on the person, again, and who you're presenting to on the board, whoever the case might be,
right.
or whoever, right? You try and break down and look at the lifetime value of a customer. And the reason why we would do that is because, okay, already 1/3 of clients are coming from social media. Work out, okay, how much does that, what does that actually mean to the business? So, based on what you've described, these people sound like they are very much focused on the numbers, and they want to
very much.
Yeah, they're there. So,
because it was a financial institution.
So you would want to try and explain to them average value of each customer, lifetime customer, so they actually understand what that one customer means. So although they're getting 1/3 from social media only, that person is having a good experience. If that person has a good experience and they refer another person, that person has a value. You know, the person who's already spending, let's say they spend the product is or the service is, but let's say they spend £100 or £200 a month, right? Or spend £3,000 over the year. We know that that one person is worth at least 3K minimum, and they're going to refer to people. So we already have
good answer.
9K from that one person. So although we're already looking at only 1/3 of customers coming from social media, there's also benefits.
Yeah, the multiplier effect of it.
Yeah, I'll talk about, you just answered it. I would just talk about the compound effect of that set of customers, and also the brand awareness. What is it actually doing for a brand who, if they, for example, have, you know, a brick and mortar store, but everyone's from home, what does it mean for that brand now that, you know, I'm looking at them online, across Facebook, across Instagram, maybe TikTok? I don't know what platforms you're using, but for I'm assuming a bit of LinkedIn, a bit of Facebook, and a bit of, you know, Instagram, right? So I would try and probably not trying to educate them, because they might just be stuck people like that, right? But I'm explaining LTV, and I see Ace just commented, his friend a friend of mine, he put ROI and ROAS, and I agree. That's
right.
Where I would be spending most.
No, that's so that's, I mean, I believe that's a good answer. That was pretty much where the direction went.
Good.
You know, checking the perspectives on how, you know, how it works where you are versus how it works. And I hate the word third world thing. I hate it. I've never liked it before. So,
Did Jamaica?
All right. So second.
Is Jamaica still classified as a third world or developing country? I think it's developing.
Developing and third world are pretty much just one and the same. That's how they classify them. So I actually hate third world.
Okay.
Developing sounds better to me.
Yeah.
All right. So we usually have, whenever you have customers, any company, there's usually a particular customer that stands out to you, right? So of all the businesses that you have done, I guess you can tell me. So we've been speaking a lot about your marketing, your digital marketing, agency or outfit. But you also do law, you also do real estate, right?
Yeah. I've got my hands in a few different pies. Yeah.
Okay, right. All right. So between law, real estate, and marketing, I want you to tell me one customer from each that stands out and why, or stood out and why.
So I've had a difficult client recently. I hope they're not. That would be embarrassing.
Yeah.
I have to check who's joined. But I'll talk about a difficult client that I had at least 2 years ago. And when I say difficult, the client was difficult because it's another client. They were based overseas. They're not even UK based.
This is which industry? Which one of your?
Go social.
Social, okay.
Go social, right? And the client was based out in South Africa, so Johannesburg.
All right. They're pretty advanced technologically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The client got onboarded. So about the situation and what happened and the outcome, right? So the client came on board. Paid. Set up a subscription for the service of Facebook ads and also email marketing. The client paid and then disappeared. We could not communicate with the client. We rang the client. We emailed the client. We followed up.
So they still wanted their deliverable?
Hang on a minute.
Okay. All right.
So imagine, you've paid, thousands of pounds, right? And you've set up a direct debit. You've paid 2 months now, right? And where you started the service, but we're waiting for access to their Google Analytics. We're waiting on access for their be approved as a person who can, adjust the business manager.
Right.
The back end of their Facebook account. We're waiting on access for their Get Response, which is similar to MailChimp. And pounds, right? We cannot get through to. Now, a month later, the third month, and have like a Google form we use, about all the data. They're like, wait. Said, well, we've drafted, and they all went or get response. We've set up the the exit pop up. So when you go on the website, you as your lead, something triggers.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Right.
Things on the website. We had access to the website. We've done it. Right. We couldn't run the ads. Didn't have access. So the client was frustrated. She was frustrated. She said, she had a family member who, unfortunately passed away, which was very sad, of course. So
right.
We understood that, we're human, things happen, life happens, but we didn't get the communication we wanted, and we eventually ended up losing that client. They had paid a bunch.
Did the client blame you for it?
Yeah, and then eventually wrote a long email saying, "We're sorry, we apologize."
Okay.
And then 6 months later, said they're ready to start again. Can we come on board? Yeah. Trickiest client I had. I mean,
how were they after? Did you?
After they were fine, but I mean, when they contacted us in the third month, it was cussing, bad words, profanity, also. So of course you have to maintain your professionalism. So
right.
Composed. It was Chris who got the call on that day, actually. So Chris got the call, and he said, "Dom, look, this has happened. They want to cancel with immediate effect." And it's really upset. So they cancelled, and then eventually probably had from a marketing perspective. So for Go Social, Now, you asked another question. So for law, for my legal consultants. So legal, you click on my link tree. Advisory. So if you go on my profile, link my link tree. Name of my legal consultancy. So most difficult client I've had so far. I can't name the client because it's a government client.
Yeah.
And because the government client and security cleared, which is a very high level of confidentiality that I still can't speak of.
Right. I mean, it's law.
Name the client, right?
It's law.
But the client was quite difficult because there's a lot of problems that go on in the world, and they were in the aviation and defense sector. And the client had a lot of things going wrong with their aircraft. I can't name the, but yeah, I'll just say.
No, that's fine.
our role, so my role and analysis role was essentially to deal with all of the service credits and things that have gone with the aircraft. So it could be the tires, being worn to their limits when they shouldn't. They should meet a standard. It could be something called the Defense Automated Suite, which is a suite on an aircraft, which is defense, attack, income attacks. So things are going, and that's because the aircrafts were deteriorating and getting older and older. But the for a legal person was to come in, fix the problems, and write claims and sue who is providing the material and the kit for the aircraft.
Oh.
Yeah. So while making, different letters of claims, what they're called, different documents and presentations sent to some senior people in the UK deal with that type of aircraft stuff, right? We got a lot of pushback saying, what do you think this could do? What will be the outcome? And while you're trying to do your work, we're getting a lot of pushback and getting criticism, which slows down, because if you're trying to do the work and get the desired outcome, and you've hired, in a consultative capacity, you want that person to crack on with the work, if that makes sense. So in terms of the challenge there, it was more in relation to the belief and trying to explain to the client, get to a certain outcome, there's certain steps that we need to go through, and certain hoops that you have to unfortunately go through, which might sound like a bit of red tape, but you have to go through certain to get to a stage now in receipt of money, essentially, for claim. So that scenario is more in relation to managing client expectations, and at the same time trying to make sure that the customer is still satisfied. So that situation is totally different from Go Social, but
Go Social.
So be a bit evasive, but I can't talk about the client.
No, man. And truthfully, I didn't expect you to be naming clients here. Have you ever lost a client?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Due to them, and I'm not talking about the Go Social situation that you had. Have you ever lost a client due to them thinking that, I didn't like the service that I was getting, and how did you deal with that?
Yeah, so one of my first clients I lost in the first year of trading. I got through Upwork, which is a platform that you can.
Yeah, man, like Fiverr. It's like Fiverr. Right.
I got a software as a service client, and I lost the client purely because we hadn't niched down and we were finding our feet. I just thought to myself I'd be able to deliver, but we were able to deliver. It was we're new. The company was in its infancy. It was two consultants who had come together and formed a business, and we didn't have the correct processes in place to deliver to the client. So I was focusing on doing the service delivery. I was working with a company that's based offshore who deals with Facebook ads. So I thought, okay, it's quite easy. I'll win the and I'll just outsource it to a client and to someone who will deal with all of the service delivery. Loads of people, for those of you who don't know, there's loads of people who deal with SEO and Facebook ads, and you can find them for like £300 a month, £400 a month, but they're not necessarily great. So I won the client and then literally just charged them like $2,000 and then gave it to someone based in Nicaragua. I thought,
all right.
They've got 5-star review. What's the worst that could happen?
Right.
They got the client got customers, no conversions. The brand the metrics were poor, and the client was just like, "Look, this is just unacceptable." So we ended up refunding the client anyway. So gave and pretty much said, "Look, mistakes happen. We do apologize. Sorry for any inconvenience." And they were like, look, no problem. They didn't get new customers, but they got, brand awareness. They could see that their profile had likes and comments, but they didn't get the outcome they wanted. So it wasn't a complete flop, but it just wasn't a great result where, now we're getting 7x, 10x.
Right.
Software as a service client, we didn't niche down. Which now we fully have niched down into certain, deal with, certain, customers like, e-commerce, insurance, lead gen, local business. Before we were just doing everything and thinking, it'll be the same. And it's not down into certain sectors. So, yeah, that was how I lost a client. But since then, I haven't. The only clients that leave is because they're bringing it in-house or they're training someone.
Right.
It's just a monthly subscription.
And I mean, it's cheaper for them to do it that way anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not as effective, but they do it anyway, right? Personal life. I don't know. As I said, it's been a while. Oh, so William Anderson. He was telling us.
Big up.
Big up. So I know you must have a personal life. I follow you on Instagram.
Yeah.
How does managing your life, your personal life, does it affect your business? Has it ever affected your business and how you deal with a client? Your girl left you and client start bothering you because of the client?
Oh man. Without getting too personal and getting the violins too emotional, your personal life can affect you and can, but you have to develop some type of like coping mechanisms to deal with when you can't go right, even in your personal life.
Right.
Taken a lot.
But has it ever affected you?
It has affected me, but I try and stay like really calm and like composed when I'm dealing with business. So I don't let my personal problems come into my professional work or world. It doesn't. So
right.
A lot of things on a day-to-day basis. I out a lot of fires at home, at work, in the office. I deal with staff leaving. We've had salespeople come and go. We've had salespeople find their desk not do any work. We've had a lot of issues that happen at work, and while that's happening, I'm dealing with my family, my mom, something's going on. Right, do you know what I mean? Or there's a flood downstairs in the kitchen, which happened last week. So but I don't see them be like, oh my God, there's a flood downstairs, and I don't, because no one really cares. Everyone's got their own life going on. There's a lot of things going on right now in Afghanistan. Got Taliban taking over. Got people dying due to COVID.
Right.
In the UK now, people can't get petrol because there's no lorry drivers. Like, there's a lot of things going on every day that consume people. So I try not to let problems in my personal life creep into work. There's obviously days where I'm not in the mood, so I will maybe take a day off, or I will not go into the office and I will just work from home, or work in certain blocks where I will spend 3 hours on something, doing some deep work, and then I would spend the rest of the afternoon not doing anything. So, yeah, I mean, you have to have supportive people around you, whether that be a girl, wife, a mother, a husband, a brother, because I don't know an island, so I definitely rely a lot on my family and people around me, because there's a lot of things that I deal with on a day-to-day, which I'm presented with some tricky scenarios, and most people, highly paid or in a role where they're a business owner, you're paid to deal with complex problems and solve complex issues. So I can't personal issues come in the way when I'm solving bigger issues. So I try and prioritize what's a big problem, and then I will ignore what's not relevant and quickly make a judgment call and say, I need to focus on that, so let's do that. So in a Monday, if, for example, we had a salesperson leave, which we've had, we had a saleswoman leave Monday morning, but then at home, the builder didn't show up. Instead of calling, be like, where are you? Are you not coming to deal with the work that you've got to deal with? My focus was on the person we've just dismissed to make sure that we're not going to get an unfair dismissal claim. So I will spend my time focusing on what's really urgent and then deal with everything else after.
Okay. How do you maintain that kind of service delivery with your staff, the customer service? Do you actually train them? What kind of leader are you? Are you the type that, I mean, I know nobody wants to admit that they're the micromanager, or so how do you maintain the quality? Because obviously you can't do everything.
No.
You need a team for it. So how do you maintain the service delivery? So it's your company, and you usually find that the persons who own the company are a little more tolerant with customers versus somebody who's just collecting a paycheck. It's just a paycheck for a lot of people. So, how do you maintain that?
So we have something called like a minimal viable product or minimum that needs to be followed. It's very simple, where our customer remains at the heart of whatever we do. So our expectation is that if we're hiring you to be a Facebook ads person, we expect certain things to be presented at the minimum in preparation for your call with a client. We expect it to be just minimum. If you go, the extra mile, or you decide to do something else, or you download a report and you make it a bit more colorful to match the company's colors, or you want to, I don't know, go the extra mile to take the client to, you say, oh, Dom, Chris, I want to take the client to an Arsenal football game, right? And I pay for it myself. It's £150 for 2 tickets. You do that, great. But we're not expecting you to do that. So we have certain minimal viable metrics where we just think to get a certain outcome for a client, we expect you to do this. So you don't have to stand over people and breathe over their necks and be like, have you done this?
Right.
Because when we onboard a new consultant, we spend at least about a week getting them up to speed with our process. And
orientation.
Yeah. So we spend about there, because it's all done remotely at the moment. So we're all on Microsoft Teams. We're all on and we spend most of our time just doing a share screen session and explaining what should be.
Okay.
But then there are times, depending on the client, depending on the value of the client, we will, spend time, and Chris or me, I will be like, okay, this is an account we need to spend time looking at. So we tear clients, which not often do, but we do. We tear them based on certain criteria. So if you're, paying a certain amount, or if you're a type of brand or a type of client, or brick and mortar business, or online, we tear you. And then based on the tear where you fit, Chris be put. So everyone gets the overall same service, but there's certain we think, well, look, they're high profile, we need to make sure that we're hitting every box. Because if it goes wrong, hey, the PR is not going to be good. The PR is not going to be good if I...
Yeah.
And you do have clients are very happy to spread, bad about us. And we've been quite lucky.
Yeah.
Had any bad press, or anyone's gone on trial or somewhere and wrote a bad review. We've been quite fortunate. So, yeah.
I mean, we're doing good work, man. All right. So we're almost out of time. So the final 2 questions. So I'm gonna flip the script now.
Okay.
So you as a customer. So you have been. So all my questions have been you in a provisional position, but now I'm talking about you as a customer.
Yep.
What has been your your experience, and you're Jamaican, which means that you should be au fait with some of our challenges here in customer service. Frankly, I think we struggle immensely. I mean, a smile is grand.
That's why
for even me.
That's why you need Spike.
Yeah, exactly. Which is why Alexa would have found that opportunity, found the niche, and decided that she's gonna hone her skills in that area. and then try and do that service delivery. But how about you as a customer? How has the customer service experience been? I'm sure you've been back. You've been back because you've been back. I'm sure you've been back at least once. For your birthday, I think it was.
Yeah, I was there 2018 and
2018, I think it was.
2019 going into 2020.
Okay, no, I don't remember that one. All right, anyway. So so how has your experience been, between England, or London? You're in London, right?
Yeah.
Which is what would be considered a developed city versus Jamaica, which is more developing. How has your experience been? How was your, customer service wise? Is it the same? Is it that we just live here and we think that we are the worst in Jamaica, or is it that, it's all over the world?
It's definitely there's definitely more of a trend that you can identify in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Trend being that it's not as great as it could be, and it's like a downward curve of going into the bad. Compared to England, where there's certain scenarios where that's bad customer service, or I've come across a scenario where in England, they look at you like, wow, you don't belong here. What are you doing? I was gonna
ask if racism has ever affected your customer service in England.
I don't know, maybe because I've got a Kanye smile most of the time, where I'm not smile.
I know you're rich enough, so you're a level.
I haven't had anyone be outright racist towards me, but I've had situations where I'm somewhere and I'm waiting to be served, or hello, anyone see me or see us, what's going on, sort of things. I've had scenarios like that, but I haven't had scenarios where, when you're in Jamaica, if you're at certain places, they will deal with the tourists before they deal with you, or
because the tourists tip,
smile, or they won't even look at you, or they will kiss their teeth, what you want, one sort of thing. Where
no, please not tell me say you forget for chat part, my brother.
No.
Okay, cool.
Trying to say, come on, man. So I haven't had scenarios like that, but I haven't had bad customer service in England to a point where I've got so many examples I can remember. And the same with Jamaica. I accept things for what they are, and I like to be like a chameleon. So when I'm in Jamaica, my expectations are lower anyway when it comes to customer service. And I am different because I think I need to blend in. In order for me to blend in, I'm not going to be like, oh, excuse me, can you help me? I'm not going to do that. That's not Montego Bay or Kingston. First and foremost, I'm going to try and wear and shorts or a t-shirt and dirty slip. I want in.
Careful with the shorts and slippers thing. Police pull you over.
Try and blend in.
Because you're also from Montego Bay.
No, I know, but what I'm trying to try and blend in, number one, because I don't prices. But unfortunately, sometimes they and they'll know you might be Jamaican, but you don't live here. So, or purposely maybe let someone else talk. Or if I'm I will try and put on the deepest accent, if possible, to get
rough,
like a local price. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, rough.
Oh, straight away they look at you and they think, I wanted that Englishman here. You know what I mean? I want to take that. So I will purposely try and be a comedian to match the other person. So they want to be miserable, I'm going to be miserable too. They want, I'll be nice too. I'll match you, if that makes sense.
Okay.
If someone's smiling at me, I'll smile back. But if you're not going to smile at me, all right, then cool.
Yeah, top up your face, man. All right, so the final question is, and I'm going to lead in with a scenario. Maybe about 3 months ago, so I was having a situation with the security at my home, like my home security, not the actual individual.
Yep.
And so I went to the company, security company, we can't call the name, King Alarm. And I was lamenting like, listen, I'm paying all of this money and my thing doesn't work. It says I'm supposed to get 100 feet of, I can potentially press my panic button 100 feet from the receiver.
Yeah.
That's a good distance.
Yeah.
If I'm at 20 feet, I couldn't get it. So I'm saying, what am I paying for? So they installed a new receiver and all of that and wanted me to pay for it. I'm saying, but you guaranteed me that I could get 100 feet from my receiver. So you putting in that is just because you have reneged on your promise to me as a customer. Anyway, we're back. It was a big, long back and forth and all of that until a supervisor came out. She just heard what was happening. She was passing. And she said, what if I gave you 4 months free?
Okay.
Would you stay? Because I told them I was going to cut it off. I mean, I can use my machete and thing and defend myself. Nobody will come kill me. Isn't it? So I never cut it off. And she's like, what if I gave you 4 months free and I'll waive the cost of the new receiver and I'll give you a discount for the remainder of the year on your monthly payments. Now that to me, as a matter of fact, I think I was on a interview call before with Alexa, same Spike, trying to get somebody new on board to get new customers, some customer acquisition. And immediately I told Lexi about it, like, yo, we need to try and reach out to this person because I've never experienced any. That's very simple, It's very, very simple.
Yeah.
But I've never experienced anything like that in Jamaica. Now, have you ever had a situation like that where you had excellent customer service given to you and you can remember distinctly when it happened?
Yeah, I went to, it's a good scenario, but when you said machete, I'm going to say you have a licensed firearm. I thought you'd have a license.
No, what we have man, Jesus Christ, man.
Beretta.
This is Instagram live now, please, Jesus.
But
man, come on me yard.
Oh, I'm only playing. But
yeah.
Oh, yeah. When I was in Dubai recently, I was by my girlfriend. We went to this restaurant called Oceana, and it's like in an aquarium.
Okay.
In an aquarium, it's in the Atlantis. Beautiful, overpriced. A great restaurant, anyway. Great.
It's fine. It's vacation. It's fine.
And we went there, and the menu was like a set menu. It was just like all these small different nibbles, small bits of beef, small bits of chicken, small little, like a upscale type restaurant, right? It wasn't like a Michelin star or anything like that, but it was almost there, right? So we ordered food, and I was just like, this isn't going to satisfy me at all. The food came, and when the food came, I was like, oh my goodness, like, for the price what I'm about to spend, like, basically about £500, right? What I'm about to spend here, I'm going to leave hungry and have to go KFC.
Yeah, that's what fine dining restaurants are.
So I said,
hey, get a little piece.
Look, you're a drawer out because you brought me here and you wanted to go and I wanted to go as well. She sold, right? So I went, but what happened during, amazing, because when the food came, the manager came and he said, are you enjoying your meal? So I said, not really. It's my expectations, because although on the menu, it says you're going to get beef, you're going to get steak, you're going to get, chicken, you're going to get all these other things. It's not what I expected, right? I said, usually when I go out, Mr. Manager, I get like a 300-gram sirloin steak or a T-bone steak or something, right? So he said, don't worry, we're going to change the menu just for you because we know you're here on holiday and we want you to have a great. The manager literally said, what do you want? I would tell you. Because we were like, look, we're just going to go across the road to Hakkasan, or we're going to go Nobu, which is in the Atlantis as well. So like, we'll go Nobu because in the UK, and all these different we're familiar with them.
All right.
It was like, no, stay there. We're going to let you pay the same price, but we're going to make you whatever you want. they said, what do you want? So I was like, I wouldn't mind like these mini burgers. Wouldn't mind a bit of steak, surf and turf, bit of some chips. Just keep it simple. Or dolphin wild potatoes, some baby new potatoes, veg, some long steam carrots, and a cocktail, right? That's a Ponza Martini or whatever. He made it. He got the chef to make what whole week. And it wasn't on their menu. And I was like, so shocked because I was like, some things I ordered, I thought, they might not even be in season. After I gave him what I wanted, I was like, I'm being unreasonable. So I said, if you don't have it, but when he came, I said, if you don't have anything, like, that I ordered, let's just give me what you can. And he said, no. Like, what's your name? So I said, Mr. Hay. He said, Mr. Hay, we're going to make whatever you want. He gave me whatever I wanted, and he said, look, here's a voucher for next time, and you can use this in the future if you ever come back to Dubai. And I was like, wow.
Wow.
So
wow.
I put it out because they did not have to do it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's amazing. I've heard stories like that.
Yeah.
But from tourists who come here at the hotel. So you know,
yeah.
they probably will do it for them. I'm not sure how willing they will be to do it for Jamaicans. But again, it was wonderful having you back here in Jamaica, if even virtually. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of what you have done. It's a lot of, thinking back while you're talking, I was just thinking back when we were in high school and to see where a lot of us are now. And, not just you, just, the Stefan Chads and the Kareem Jennings and all these guys, it's, just to see where they are and the impact that you guys are making, not only in your small circle, but on the world, because you are also a global entrepreneur, given your social media outfit. So it's really a proud moment for me, and I'm sure I extend the gratitude is extended through Spike and Alexan. So it was good having you. I hope to do this again. I'm happy to get a snapshot of what exactly is happening in life with Dominic.
Yep.
And keep up the good work. I hope for you that in the future you will grow further in whatever else it is that you do. You seem to me like I don't want to say a serial entrepreneur or just one of opportunity. Whatever it is that drives you, keep going and may the best man continue to win.
Thank you, and right back at you. Really, thank you very much for your time.
Yeah, man.
What you and Alexander are doing. Also, Alexander, happy birthday. Happy birthday. And thank you once again.
All right, bro. Big up yourself. Thanks, everybody, for coming out and watching. All right, peace.